Gulf Coast independent wrestling fans, welcome back to Front Row Fanatics as we are continuing our review of Culture Shock Wrestling Show Wired that took place in the House of Hardcore in Mossy Head, Florida. With that being said, I'll pass it off to the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Internet.
Alright, match number 2. It was a unique match in that it teamed up the T-Bird and the California Kid. I guess they're calling themselves the California Birds or some variation of that, and they took on Doug the Chain Williams and Chuck N. Dales.
The sexiest man alive, Chuck N. Dales.
Without a doubt. Very good match. T-Bird and California Kid both came out shooting the bird. But I'm wishing, seeing as how the California Kid is the Iron Fist of the Gulf Coast, maybe he could teach T-Bird how to fist.
Oh!
But California Kid, he's a West Coast fister, and they're a little more intense than us Southern fisters, so.
I hear ya.
First thing I have to say about this match is the California Kid and T-Bird showed phenomenal chemistry. They were doing tandem crescent kicks and double spinning leg drops. Doug the Chain Williams and Chuck N. Dales, not so much. As a matter of fact, Doug Williams was downright abusive to Chuck N. Dales. And Chuck N. Dales, miles apart. The guy's trying his best, showing improvement inside the ring. The later stages of the match had Doug the Chain Williams attempting to hit California Kid with the chain, but Chuck N. Dales prevented that, and that allowed California Kid to hit the California Kick on Chuck N. Dales. After the match, California Kid and T-Bird left the ring, and Doug the Chain Williams proceeded to pound Chuck N. Dales with that chain, until finally T-Bird and California Kid intervened on behalf of Chuck N. Dales.
Absolutely. It was really interesting seeing California Kid and T-Bird form a tag team, considering they've been at each other's throats feuding in various promotions along the Gulf Coast. They do have good chemistry. I think they'll be a good addition to the tag team division at Culture Shock Wrestling. Chuck N. Dales, he tried to be, show sportsmanship, shake their hands, and wrestle a clean match. Old Firecracker Doug there, he wasn't having none of it, man. I mean, he just was verbally and physically abusive. Pretty much left his tag team partner out there to hang, floating in the wind, getting the crap kicked out of him by Cali Kid and T-Bird. And
in the words of Cali Kid regarding Doug the Chain Williams, what a douche.
I hear you.
And I'm going to start the DBDD, the Don't Be a Douche Doug campaign. So, fans, every time you see Doug, tell him not to be a douche.
That's right. And there were several, high spots, shall we say, in the match and going on. But one thing that really freaked me out there is when they yanked old Chuck N. Dale's drawers down, the full moon was rising over Mossy Head, and they started spanking that ass and everything.
California Kid decided he was going to chop the moon.
Woo! Man, what was up with that? My eyes were bleeding, man.
Slap the thigh and ride the wave in. Okay, moving right along to match number 3. We had the $1,000 Make Crew Bleed Challenge. Pre-match, Victor Crew gets in there and starts reading poetry and just, being his overbearing, arrogant self. Speaking of overbearing and arrogant, the other participants in the match were Story of the Year Brian Cage and Mike Fresca.
I said Fresca.
The ever so popular Mike Fresca.
That's right.
My first thoughts on this is how can CSW contain two egos the size of Brian Cage and Victor Crew? Brian Cage got on the mic and said, you know what, I don't need your money, I have my own money. Good back and forth action, but at the end of the match saw Victor Crew leave the ring, which set up Brian Cage to give Mike Fresca the 3/4 face lock cutter.
Fresca, Fresca, Fresca. Can you say it again, baby?
Fresca.
Yeah.
Say it once, say it twice, say it with pleasure.
Sweet!
So Cage did not receive the $1,000 bounty on the Make Crew Bleed challenge.
He's got money. He's got lunch money that his mama gave him or something, man. But, Victor Crew, I'd even buy Brian Cage a beer if he'd make Victor Crew bleed. I never thought I'd say that I hate somebody more than Brian Cage.
Brian Cage would get many fans he didn't know he had if he would make Crew bleed.
Absolutely. Victor Crew, being the cheese dick that he is, ran out like a coward and basically turned a three-way match for this $1,000 Make Crew Bleed challenge into a singles competition between up-and-coming young Mike Fresca again.
Right.
and the Story of the Year, Good match, entertaining. Once again, Brian Cage walks into a new building, a new promotion.
Makes an impact.
Makes an impact. So your winner was the Story of the Year, Brian Cage, as much as I hate to admit it.
All right, match number 4 saw Mr. Electricity Jerry Reiner take on one of the members of the Elite, your close personal friend, David Prime. Going into this, two wily ring veterans going at it. David Prime at one point asked the referee to tell Jerry Reiner to slow down. Jerry Reiner, right now, I believe, is at the top of his game. This was a good old school match. This was a good example of CSW having more than just hardcore that they have the reputation for. This was good old school wrestling. End of the match saw Jerry Reiner picking up the win after the Shining Wizard.
Absolutely. Two of my personal favorites. They're along the Gulf Coast with Mr. Electricity, who both of us have been watching for numerous years. My close personal friend, David Prime. Even though he jeffed me off. What's up with that, Dave, man? You and the rest of the boys better get your attitude straight, or, Gargoyle's going to come hunting you down.
Roll Tide.
Oh, God, Jesus. You can't claim that you like Michigan, man. So
I know.
Get off that bandwagon. But anyway,
Wolverines.
yeah, that's right. Woohoo! We ain't talking about that movie Red Dawn Wolverines, man, But anyway, good old school solid match, good technical ability displayed by both wrestlers. I enjoyed it. The crowd was into it. Another example, like you said, of CSW showing that they have more variety than hardcore wrestling, which they seem to catch a bad rap for. So.
Right, and this match sort of reminded me of the wrestling of yesteryear, back from the late 70s, early 80s, when it was more about the in-ring ability than anything else. And
right.
I have a soft spot for that. I like a variation of wrestling, but that right there was a good throwback. Like I said, Jerry Reiner and David Prime at the top of their game, and you can't go wrong. You stick these two guys in the ring together, just let them go at it.
Great match, great match. They will deliver every time, I believe.
All right, well, I think we're going to take a break.
Yeah, I'm getting thirsty.
Yeah.